Hey, cycling friends. Good evening. James with Team Finish Strong. I wanted to do this live stream tonight because there's something potentially important happening in the Zwift world. Just found out today. I was watching a live stream with Ash Beach around the jungle circuit, and the jungle circuit today was a game changer for him. Trying to explain this, during the event it was discovered that there was definitely a difference in the rolling resistance on the jungle circuit's off pavement sections, and it was on that section that it was discovered that those that had not recently updated to the latest version of Zwift were not affected by this change, and it caused a tremendous disparity in the resistance felt by the competitors in the race. It was shocking to watch as Ash Beach was dropped by not just the A groups, but also the B groups and even some C riders. And I don't say that to say anything about Ash Beach or his race. This is something that is kind of a shocker for us here, those of us who race in Zwift often. I have raced on the jungle circuit many times, and most recently just this past week. So this is going to change things up. Let me just bring up some information here. This is what Ash had to say. He investigated the. Let me keep that up here for a second while I get his information up on the screen. This is what he had to say about the event today. In his comments on his Strava feed, he says, so it's two things from what I've heard from Zwift insiders. The gravel off-road terrain is pretty severely handicapped to road wheels, that's point one, and if you're a no man's land getting passed by a group, that's point number two. Those users that have updated will be slower in gravel off-road terrain than those that haven't. So this is something that's very important for people who are racing Zwift to understand, and that is that that the terrain in the jungle circuit now is completely different, has a completely different race dynamic for us. So watch out if you're planning on any races in the next week or two that use any off-road sections. That could be jungle circuit, it could be the roads leading up to it by the windmills, or other parts of Zwift where there's any off-road terrain whatsoever. It's going to look and feel different. It's going to race different. So from what I also heard in some of those comments that I read is that those that are on Windows computers will be updated automatically, whereas those that are using I think Apple products are not necessarily automatically updated, so they could have a potential advantage in races until this update is pushed out to everybody. So I would just keep that in mind. Now I'm going to bring up also, if I may, this is what the update has to say on Zwift Insider. So the update came through Zwift Update 1.0.40555. It was released on October 3rd, and it's now starting to filter down to folks' computers. And among other things, such as the route achievement badges and the steering, which we all knew about, was the steering. That was really hyped up about that, but it was this part about the wheel rolling resistance that kind of slipped in under the radar, I guess you could say. And while neither Zwift Insider or Ash got any definitive information from Zwift about what wheel sets or what configurations may be optimal for this type of setup, we do know that there are some changes. So I did a little bit of digging around, and I have to tell you, I could not find any gravel-specific wheels on Zwift. I went into the drop shop, and I looked around, and pretty much everything caters to road users. The only thing that I found that was kind of hinted at also on Zwift Insider is that there is, under Shimano, there is an all-rounder, the C40, that says that it's ride to win on every road. So there's a little bit of a hint there, potentially. We don't know. This has not been tested. And if I were to go back to my other screen here, I did bring up the C40 wheel sets information. This is the in real life wheel sets, and it says here under their bottom section, it says as a result, you have a set of hoops which will suit almost any day in the saddle, be it in the hills, through the mountains, over rough roads, in the cut and thrust of the peloton, or on a big sportive. So the C40 wheels from Shimano may in fact potentially be a better wheel set to use in these gravel races. It's untested as of yet. We don't have any hard numbers, but I just wanted to get that information out to the Zwift community as early as possible to let you know, so that like Ash and myself, you don't get surprised when you're in the middle of an event and you find yourself uncompetitive. That may be partly to blame on the update feature, but certainly the rolling resistance had something to do with that, and certainly having an optimized wheel set can mitigate some of that effect. So appreciate you guys tuning in today, and that's all I have on this particular topic. We're going to see how it bears out in some of the races throughout the coming weeks. So be sure to tune in to your favorite YouTuber on Zwift and see how they do on some of these circuits. I'm going to give my hand a try at some of these circuits. Perhaps not this week. I don't want to fall prey to some of these non-updated folks not being necessarily fairly competitive in some of these races. But once all of that gets sorted out, I am interested to see just how much it changes the races in Zwift. So you all have a great evening. God bless.